good morning to you all. Just wanted to update you with what happened over the last 24 hours. We have a little bit of a risk on indication on the 24-hour change. VIX won't go below 20 though, so that's still a bit of a worry, and we don't want above 26.5, so we're almost like between a rock and a hard place. Psychologically 20 is obviously important, and technically 26.5 is important as well, so we're currently fluctuating between those two values. It's understandable why we wouldn't crack below 20, because we've got all these things going on in the world that's causing quite a lot of uncertainty, so that would be normal, I think. So it won't go below the 20 handle for a multitude of fundamental reasons. Just look at the big picture, you know, look at the geopolitics, you know, Russia, Ukraine, all those sort of things. So but currently we're stuck, and that's probably why we're going to see quite a bit of fluctuation on risk, because of the psychological and technical. So we're going to have a bit of yen strength today, which is interesting. Potentially, and pound weakness. They went long pound, but they shorted the yen. So look for pound yen for clues. And if that's not obeying, if that's not going to fall, then it's possibly going to be a fundamental day or technical day as opposed to sentiment. But yeah, I think they finally started to give up on yen. So that was probably one of the worst trades that they've done ever. They held on and they held on, and so they got absolutely destroyed. So yeah, it's just one of those things. They didn't have good risk management. They thought they could probably get themselves out a break even, but it continued to wipe them, and so that's that. So the key is to have good risk management. It might not be the end of the road. It might just continue, but it's telling us that they're giving up. So that could be a sign of a top. Yeah, that's what I just said. Desperation and capitulation. So yeah, that's just one of those things. It's trading, and that's just symptomatic of having terrible risk management. They thought they were going to ape it, you know, and they were just going to YOLO like they do in crypto and hodl, and they got pretty destroyed. Kiwi USD is the greatest sell from last week, so this is over a week, and oil is the greatest buy. You'll note that the Aussie USD is also a sell as well, and dollar Swiss is of interest because they shorted the dollar Swiss. Have a look at the dollar Swiss chart, it looks quite bullish. So that's that. Yesterday the 5 and the 10, they were close to inverting, but that's come down, so that's a good sign. We didn't want those two to invert. Ideally we want these numbers to be gradual and not, you know, what's the word, they don't want to beat, they don't want to overcome, you know, the one to the right. You want the yield curves like a natural curve, you don't want any fluctuations. So that could come down a little bit. I think that's probably alright where it is. That could come down a bit. Ideally we want to stick to that trend line. That has gone over a little bit. It could come down a bit. These two could possibly come up a little bit. S&P, they shorted it and then they shorted it. So it's those wicks, that's probably what got them, and it made them convinced it was going to fall. So that's that. So if they continue to sell it, up will come. And gold, this was a stop loss, stop hunt, I think. They went long here, so it's less shorts. So that means that their stops got taken. That's a less short, and so they're going long. So less short is going long basically, and so that was a pretty horrendous liquidity probe, and of course we come down just because it's evil and it's cruel. That's just, yes, that's trading. You just have to be so careful. That could just be a huge liquidity probe. Grab those stops, and it's just going to come down, and probably raid those stops, and it'll come up, and it'll carry on forever. So you have to be careful, know your exit. Obviously that was a big warning sign, the 2000. That was like indicating a lot of panic, a lot of fear and worry, and down we came. We moved a lot as well. It's pretty scary. Gold being absolutely awful. So yeah, pretty awful. And also for Quasidb customers, even though we get gold buy and sell signals, we can't record the profit in pips because the way it moves, that would be a 3,000 pip move. For example, $30 is 3,000 pips. So we wouldn't record that on a spreadsheet because it would just be devastation, basically, of the profit and loss. Light calendar, which is good. We had RBA last night, and tomorrow's calendar is fairly okay. Obviously eyes on CAD, I think, and we've got the inflation data as well, so that's going to be a big one for CAD. And we've got the European bourses are closed and about to open. China is quite negative, minus 1.31. Nikkei is up, and US is just flat. And so the cross yen, we have CAD yen as the strongest correlation, 74% probability. It's positively correlating with the US 500, so that's good. So look for cross yen for direction on risk. Stop loss cluster. So we have the largest mover was gold, as I described above. It was a big stop hunt, so it's pretty horrendous. So there's your liquidity areas, one above, one below. The largest stop loss cluster is Euro USD, which we can see here, and it's the one above at 109.50. And we didn't see that much movement, and also don't forget we need to get red and reds to align and greens to align. So we've got the cross yen is currently out of bonk, so we have to be careful, okay? And yeah, this is how we did with the signals. CAD yen was our best signal. We had some small losses, minus 6 pips there on dollar Swiss, dollar CAD. A little bit of profit on dollar CAD here. So of a 3 plus 3 plus 3, minus 7, minus 6. Now what is interesting, overnight we had cross yen trigger, so we would be currently at a loss, but that's okay because we're still early days as well. If we get another thing where where we fluctuate again during Asia, we can just change the signal algorithm from 2% to 3% just to cut out some noise. But we'll see how we go tonight in the Asian session. I think we saw a lot of stops being hunted down, and don't forget with AJ we had RBA as well. So that's just one of those things. You have to check your calendar if you're trading the currency, because it's going to move that particular currency. So so yeah, maybe we'll change from 2% to 3%, but only if we get fluctuations tonight, and then we'll see how we go. So currently we did okay on the signals. Don't forget I had to reset the macro about 8 o'clock yesterday, so because it wasn't coming through into IFTTT, but they are now, and we'll see how we go. I'll record them today for tomorrow, and we'll see how well we performed. And we are currently down a bit on AJ, but only because that, and also the fact that we probably had to trigger quite a lot of stops as well. So that's that. Have a good day, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.